I'm going to introduce to you some beautiful people. They are Bruins. I'm a Bruin, and so I'm glad to be able to do that. First, I have Dr. Nickey Woods. Dr. Nickey Woods is the Associate Dean for Student Affairs, Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging, and the Dean of Students here at the USC Law School. Let's give it up for that. It's awesome. Okay, Woods previously served as a director in student affairs at UCLA and as an assistant dean in UCLA's graduate division. A first-generation college student, she earned a bachelor's degree in psychology at UCLA, where she was on the honor roll, all-conference member of the women's basketball team. Give it up.
Yeah.
And then she earned her master's degree in education at National University and a doctorate in educational leadership with a concentration in educational psychology at the USC Rosier School of Education. Powerful. Good stuff. Yes. Okay, so she's going to be interviewing rather, I'm gonna say a young man because when I knew him, he was a young man and we're both about the same age. So he doesn't remember me, but I remember meeting him on the drag, like at the quad where all the black people hung out. And a lot of the athletes, sometimes, you know, it feels like they're not really a part of the community only because y'all are so busy. And so it's hard for you to come, you know, have time. But he was very intentional about hanging on the drag. He was very cool, very kind-hearted, just easy to get to know. And so I'm glad to be able to see him again about 20, 30. I don't know how many years it's been, a long time. Okay, we don't want to jump here. Okay, so Baron Davis is an investor, serial entrepreneur, two-time NBA All-Star and creator of thought-provoking content and digital platforms. He is committed to growing his most recent venture called Business Inside the Game, also known as BIG, a members-only platform that offers its community networking and thought leadership events access to a pipeline of investment opportunities, as well as meaningful connections with like-minded professionals. Davis is also the founder of Sports, Lifestyle and Culture, You Wish, and More Than Us, companies which all combine creative talent and original publication and production to develop and provide educational, empowering stories that appeal to global audiences of all ages. Davis resides in his hometown of Los Angeles, where he plays his most important role, daddy of his two kids. Y'all, I'll give you Baron and Nickey. Thank you.
They say the Cadillac got a flat tire. Nah, nigga, I'm just driving slow, custom 26s, dice in the window, hang up.
I have a quick question. I hope Dr. Russo is in this auditorium right now. Is Dr. Russo here? Where's Dr. J? That's all right. Somebody take a picture of that so we can make sure Dr. J sees it, because she gives me a lot of grief. But I want to let you know there's a lot of Bruins on this campus. So you're in a safe space. There's a lot of us on this campus. So on behalf of the summit, I just want to thank you for being here, taking time out of your busy schedule. When I became a part of the summit last year, I said we got to get BD on stage next year so these student athletes can hear about your journey. If you look at the transition from pro athlete to business, Baron really is a prototype for that. So let's just give him a round of applause before we get into the Q&A. All right. So first question, can you share
Can I say something?
Yeah, oh, please do.
This is hella inspiring. Y'all give a round of applause for yourselves for being here. And then also to the summit. This is phenomenal.
Right?
This is dope. We never had nothing like this when I was in college. I would have went, but it's incredible. I was walking around and it's, more student athletes outside, and just the fact that y'all here with y'all notebooks and, taking notes. We're going to keep it funky. This is about to be funky. It's about to be all the way funky. We athletes, we're going to talk like athletes, but, I'm just super inspired and motivated to go out and do more because I see all of you. So I feel like I have a great responsibility. So thank you all for coming and doing this. This is amazing.
Thank you. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about thinking about your early days. You played ball at Crossroads School in Santa Monica, then went on to UCLA, had a stellar career there. Obviously, two-time NBA All-Star. For those of you who are young, just when you get an opportunity, go on YouTube and Google Baron Davis dunk. He had one of the sickest dunks in NBA playoff history. Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about your early influences. Can you talk about who or what influenced you as a young basketball player in LA?
I would say survival. Growing up in South Central, Manchester and San Pedro, East Side, we live with invisible boundaries. And so it was hard to see across the street or 4 blocks ahead or 10 blocks ahead or even make it to the beach. And so, and I know a lot of y'all can attest to it. You sit and you get comfortable being alone, in your world, and you start watching TV, because we only had TV, and you start thinking about, how can I live outside of these invisible boundaries? You know what I mean? And so that led me to be fearless. Like, I wasn't scared, you know what I mean? I go play basketball in any hood, I would go in neighborhoods I wasn't supposed to go in, right? But it was, really about just trying to see what the other side of LA looked like. And I think from that, opportunity start to line itself up. And so for me, survival was kind of like the thing, because you had to be so present every day, every minute, and you looking behind your back, you know what I mean, and trying to play basketball at the same time. And people come into your world, and take you to Inglewood. It's like, damn, Inglewood is nice over here, you know what I mean? Take you to Compton, like, damn, they got nice houses in Compton. And then all around, as a kid, and then that's how I got, scholarship opportunity to go private school in Crossroads. So I think it's that mentality of not wanting to be a nothing.
Yeah.
Or like anything that I saw, and I was like, I am going to be better than anything that comes out of here, so that was it.
I love it. So transitioning from pro sports to business and investing is a significant shift. Can you talk about some of the early barriers you faced and how you overcame them?
Yeah, I think for an athlete at the time, people just want to talk about the dunk. So they'll take a meeting with you, and they just want to talk sports. And, I would say early on it's frustrating, because that's all they look at me as. And I had to figure out a way to go back in those rooms and get my point across. And a lot of times you have to figure out, what do you want to gain? What do you want, right? And then also when to ask for help, right? Because the education doesn't stop, the learning doesn't stop, the coaching doesn't stop. And, maybe I was going to the wrong people in the beginning, you know what I mean? And so really being able to just find the right people, find the right coaching, right? Find the right mentors, but really just stick to it, right? Like, you're not gonna get rid of me, right? I'm gonna be an investor. I'm gonna figure out what you do. And then I start recognizing that, oh, okay, you want to get friendly and cozy with me about basketball. All right, what's your best 2 companies you invested in? They're like, this one and this one. I was like, I'll take that one. I'm in, let's go. And so once I started realizing that all these great venture and investor people wanted to be my friend, you know what I mean? Then I wanted to invest in the companies they were invested in. And so, use your power as an athlete to get in these rooms, but also understand what your motive is, right? What is your get? What is your gain? Because people gonna want to sit with you and talk your head off and ask you all kind of dumbass questions. You know what I mean? Like, damn, dude, do I have to answer it? Who's playing against Kobe? You know what I mean? How's LeBron? It's like, bro, I'm here to talk business. You know what I mean? And they don't know anything about basketball. So, you just you gotta have patience with yourself and know that you have an agenda, and whatever your agenda is going into that room, they have an agenda too, right? But you have to be persistent about how are you gonna get your point across.
So as the parent of a college athlete, looking at him right now, and as a person who sees myself as a mentor to college athletes, I always try to impart advice on them that I think is good advice. So if a young UCLA Baron is sitting in that audience right now that you're on the other side of it, what would you say to them?
Stay out of trouble. If it was me, don't gang bang, stay out of trouble. When you get your money, don't hang out with your homeboys. Nah, I would say, you're making money, right? There's a business inside the game of your sport. The business inside the game of your sport allows you to be who you want to be when you grow up. You want to be a doctor, there's a trainer there, there's doctors on the team. You want to be in production, there's cameramen, there's producers. You want to be in stats and analytics, they're there, right? You want to be in education or health and wellness, everything that you do is around you. So all of these people and all of these little industries, as you leave college, right, you're just preparing yourself for your walk. But your sport, right, the I, right, the thank you that you just said to your body, that in the mind is gonna be a transferable skill to any industry. So you're never gonna lose being an athlete, you know what I mean? You're just gonna take that mentality into the medical field, into the investing field, into the entrepreneur space, right? And use that DNA. I get up every morning before everybody. I stay in the gym, you know what I mean? When the employees leave, I can learn on the fly. I'm not afraid to make a mistake, right? And I know how to talk to people, talk to media, and get my point across, right? So those are your intangibles, and whatever else you bring to your team or to your sport, that's how you learn where you want to be when you grow up.
So we see a few of your business enterprises here, and we've heard a lot today about the power of mentorship. Can you talk about mentors or somebody who has had an influence on your life and how it's shaped your approach to business, entrepreneurship, and investing?
Yes, I want to give a shout out. He's 100 years old now. His name is Marshall Rouse. He lives in Gastonia, North Carolina. When I was a rookie, Michael Holton was my coach at UCLA. Michael Holton got drafted to the Charlotte Hornets and met this guy who mentored him. Wind up meeting this old Jewish guy at a Duke game when we played. And I had hit him up after the Duke game and was like, oh man, thanks for coming, you know what I mean? And he remembered that. And when I got to Charlotte, he sat down and he went over finance. What's a stock? What's a bond? Here's my entire family portfolio and how I run my family office. And this man created his business was Christmas manufacturing. So like Yuletide and like Feliz Navidad stickers and ornaments and shit like that. And so I'm looking like, damn, okay, I see why you make so much money. But it was more so like the way he structured his family office, the way he took care of his kids, right? And allowed his kids to live and be independent, but not enable them. And he wrote like state finance legislation. So every Saturday or every other Saturday, we would have lunch. And then every Sunday, I was invited to his house with his family in Gaston, and we would just like hang out. And so him and I became best friends. He was like my adopted grandpa. And anytime that there's, business or, just anything that I need to unwind or unravel, he's always been kind of like the educator and my coach in my entire career.
So let me ask you this. Do you have a relationship with current NBA players, and do you see yourself having a responsibility to be a mentor to the next generation of players that hope to be businessmen one day?
Yeah, for sure. I got a lot of, I would say, little homies, nephews. They call me Unc now. That shit is crazy. Bro, that's crazy. They call me Unc. They be like, Unc. I'm like, golly. I used to do that. The Unc thing now be killing me. But they be like, Unc, I want to be like you or whatnot. And I'm like, I want to be like where you guys are. So there's a lot of guys and women in professional sports that we share dialogue. And what I tell them is like, I believe in you because you are where I was when I first started. And so a lot of people may not trust your eye, but I do because you're in the moment. Everybody wants to connect with you, entrepreneurs, investors, things like that. And so the current athlete, right? They're gonna have special favor when as an investor, they're going to have special favor being able to get in, equity in a company or be an ambassador to a company where, myself as a retired athlete, I got to hope that they're a fan of Baron Davis, you know what I mean, in order to sweeten my deal. And so I talk to these guys a lot about send me your deals, let us do the due diligence. We don't even have to invest. I just want to make sure that it's to your benefit, right? Because your cash is one thing, your brand is another thing, and then your social currency for an entrepreneur is another. So there's three ways, for you to do a deal, right? To get equity, to get the money, right? But at the same time, in the future, 6 years from now, 10 years from now, that entrepreneur may go on to exit that business, and that's going to be more money than you ever make, playing your sport, probably.
So when I talk to athletes, a lot of them want to go into, I notice a trend, there's a few specific industries. I hear media, I hear technology, I hear business, I hear sports, I hear entertainment. And Business Inside the Game speaks to the intersection of all those things. Can you talk about Business Inside the Game and what motivated you to launch it?
Yeah, Business Inside the Game was, I say I got my MBA from the NBA.
That's nice. That's good. That's good.
Y'all can use that too, because y'all experts in y'all craft. So I say I got my MBA from the NBA, and all that was I sat with the equipment manager. He's my best friend, Eric Housen. And I learned, I wanted to learn what he did, right? I sat with the production people. I wanted to know what they did. The medical team, when I was hurt, trying to figure out what they did. I went to the hospital so much for my knee surgery that I was like, all right, let me just start hanging out and what do you do? What do you do? And so Business Inside the Game for me was like my central intelligence. And if I wanted to be intelligent in any space, that I would just go back to basketball. I would literally just go back to my roots and I would claim a space, find the mentors, and then take the educational route. And so now we've built big into a membership club. And through thought leadership, we have collectives, growing the diaspora, women in leadership, cap table for entrepreneurs, big university for college and grad students. And the goal is to have conversations where we can put the right entrepreneurs on the stage, we can put the right investors on the stage, but as a collective, we can look at deals, do due diligence on deals, and then help, our university ambassadors grow with that company, right? So, my vision is, there is 1,000 athletes, and there are 20 companies up here, and all of those companies are funded, right? And they all have equity and shares and things in these companies, right? And so that means that over the next 4 years, your value grows, that company value grows. If you don't make it, you have a job because that company value grows. And so that's big, just really being able to form collectives, create this membership, share information, amplify, thought leaders, tell stories, and then find out, who are the best entrepreneurs for us to invest in.
I hope you guys are really paying attention to what this man is saying. This is powerful.
They looking at me, and they staring
I
at me
think
and
they're
shit.
paying
I think
attention.
so.
That's powerful. That's powerful stuff. I think they're listening.
I ain't seen nobody yawn yet.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And they've been sitting for a while. So many former pro athletes, they retire from whatever their league is and they go into a singular career. Nothing's wrong with that. They might go into broadcasting. They might go into coaching. You've managed to have an impact across multiple industries. I saw Joyride. I saw you in that movie. I've seen Simple Bearing, your web series. So Black Santa, I've purchased merchandise. Was that always part of your plan, or did you just master the art of taking advantage of every opportunity that came your way?
When I played, I was my own agent. So my first 2 years, first 3 years, I had an agent, Arn Tellem, one of the most powerful agents. And then I found out I was gonna get a max deal. All my teammates was like, bro, you about to get the max. Like, you about to get the max. I was like, well, I don't need an agent anymore. So me and my homeboys set out to represent me. And we became basically our own entourage. And so I was representing myself. I've been representing myself the entire time. So every deal, like the vitamin water deal that happened because I had maxed out. You know what I mean? So it was like, I already got all this money. Like, what else can I do? And I didn't take the Sprite deal because I wanted to take the vitamin water deal because I wanted to learn how to be a marketing person. I did not at the time when I got my max. I was like, okay, like damn, I made it. My knees held up. I got another 4 years on these knees to see what happens. If I can get to the next year. But now is the time for me to start thinking about life after basketball. And the vitamin water deal was like, they were like, we have no money. I was like, that's cool. I don't need your money. Just give it to me in stock. Not even knowing what I was doing. I just really wanted to have an opportunity to be a creative. And that allowed me to take an internship. So every year that I was in the league, I was like, oh, I can go to business school on my own. I just go intern for there, intern over there. And that led me to be creative because I always knew I wanted to make movies, right? I always wanted to be a filmmaker, content creator. And so the vitamin water thing was gonna be what made me different from every single player in the league. Not the cash value as an investor, but just the fact that I can be like, hey man, Steve Nash is a free agent. He wants to be a director too. And 4 months before, I sat on a plane with Steve Nash from China. I was like, hey bro, you should be a director, have your own commercials. It's a company, Vitamin Water. They'll probably let you do that shit, And he got paid, you know what I mean? He got paid, but it was also, being able to sit at the table when they were gonna give the deal to Jay-Z and not 50 Cent. And being able to say, well, I give the deal to, well, what do you think? I give the deal to 50 Cent. Why? He got muscles. He gonna pour the water on himself. The girls love him. Like, the girls don't love Jay-Z like that. And Jay-Z, no, seriously, they don't. They don't. That's why they laughing. But they don't. They did not at the time. 50 Cent was the hottest thing in the market. And he had G Unit. Jay-Z was at Reebok. I was at Reebok with ATR. Jay-Z had S. Carter's. He got a big $2 million deal or something like that. 50 Cent got a shoe deal. 50 Cent take his shoes off, throw it in the crowd. Take his shirt off, throw it in the crowd. I went to the concert in Paris. And so that was the only reason why I said that. I was like, can you imagine that dude throwing his shoes, his shirt, and then taking a vitamin water and pouring on himself? Oh, it's over. And not saying that I, won them over, but it was something for them to think about because when you're talking about culture, pop culture, being in the moment, your insight, your intelligence, the trends that you set, the people that you know and you trust, that is so important for a lot of these brands and businesses, and people trying to grow a company, right? And, I was doing it out of pure, hey, I was there and I'm opinionated and I know what I wanted to do. And so with that, just every year, because I was my own agent, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go make a movie. Man, I did a gang documentary. That was personal, you know what I mean? Because I was like, my homeboys need a voice because they've never seen themselves on TV. If I can shoot a gang documentary and they can see themselves, maybe they'll stop killing each other. You know what I mean? Or maybe somebody will see what their story is like and now they can become advocates for the work they're doing, you know what I mean, as OGs instead of detriments, you know what I mean, or stuck in the same mud. So everything that I wanted to do and everything that I try to do from a creative standpoint is either, fun and funny to drive an emotion or something that, has some type of cultural intelligence or emotional intelligence in it, even if it's, super ghetto. I make ghetto too. You talking about the nice stuff, but we ain't talk about the Crips and Bloods versus Dracula movie that I'm doing. So
Well, you know what?
y'all want to roll? Let me know.
Well, I did want to ask about the Drew. As a person who's obsessed with basketball documentaries, the Drew was just hands down one of the best basketball documentaries I've ever watched. Can you talk about the making of that, the Drew, just for the younger folks in the room?
Yeah, we started out, we were supposed to make a short for like 5 minutes, and it turned into 12, then it turned into 30. But the goal was I came back and all the young dudes were playing in the Drew. And, I had been supporting the Drew ever since I was in the league. And I was like, damn, this is the moment. This is a cultural moment for the Drew. And all they need is a documentary or something that's a piece of content. So now, as the Drew brand grows, people can now draw back and have a touch point for the history or some knowledge of the Drew. So it's not just standing on its own every year. And, a lot of times with companies, if it's a seasonal business, right, then you have to be like, everything has to work. And so, if it's a bad year, you're screwed. You know what I mean? So you can't, or a bad season for brands. And so for the Drew, it was really like all these young dudes are young. They're going to be legends soon. The Drew is going to continue to grow, but there's a past and the history that we need to catch people up to speed. So now, as it grows, all the touch points lead back to paying homage, right, to the original guys and the original LA basketball players. And so that was more so to just help amplify the Drew, right, and put us in a category on the West, the same thing that we did, the same thing they did with Dykeman and the Rucker, because I was the first person ever in the West Coast to go to Rucker Park and play. And I had the khakis on, all that, the house shoes. I bailed out there. You know what I mean? I was super West Coast, but nobody had ever thought about doing that. And I needed to see and feel that in the energy of how they respected their basketball heritage. And I was like, man, we got to do this for the Drew, because our basketball is different. Our brand of basketball, our players, our history is different. So that's what motivated me to do that.
It was great. Please, if you have an opportunity to watch the Drew, no excuse, just produce. Are you working on any other current like entertainment projects right now? Anything
Crips and
coming out?
Bloods versus Dracula.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. I mean, we just finished the script. Well, that's about to be crazy. You definitely, I got you in that.
I need to be in
hey,
that.
bro, I'm telling you, it's sick. Dracula moves into the hood. The Crib homies is like, hey, man, go check on dude. And then, yep.
No, I write scripts. I'll help write it.
Yeah.
I'll help write it.
Y'all into that? Y'all fucking with that? Y'all want to roll, y'all can get a roll, I'm telling you. All right, they telling me I got to go. They don't like that. They don't like my pitch for
It's
Crips and
creativity. It's
Bloods
creativity.
and Dracula.
Okay. Last question. You've had a lot of success. Somebody wants to know about it? No last question? We're done?
Yeah, they timing us out.
I was just going to ask what you're most proud of in life.
What I'm most proud of,
Quickly.
my kids. The fact that I'm a father.
Say that.
I love my kids. They should have been here. They would have loved all of you. They're athletes. And, just keep going, keep inspiring, because there's a generation that's coming behind you that look up to you. And I'm here. Follow me, DM me, Business Society the Game. We're here for you. We love you. We want to see you all be successful and know that there's so many jobs in your space.
Give it up for Baron Davis.
Hey, and also give it up for Dr. Nickey Woods as well.